Alright, got another jet ski. So, got this sweet big reveal. Cue the music or whatever. Look at that. What a beauty, huh? Got this tricky to set up, handle, pull, stop. Peel and paint, $6.50. Just the engine you don't really care about. So let's see what's inside. Alright, I actually already sprayed out the inside of this because it was especially disgusting. Slimy everywhere. It still kind of is, you can see. And you can see we've got a nice spark plug wire that is not connected to the boot here. The other one's connected, so that's fine. It's got the ProTech pipe, which is, I don't know, I guess it leaves more space than the other pipe, the factory pipe, if you're going to work on your ski at some point. But supposedly it's not as good. And $6.50 engine, so yeah, it's going to be great. Alright, so the second thing to be done on this ski after having cleaned it is to try to fix a spark plug boot. I've heard it's easy from Jacob, so I don't know if that's reliable or not, but I'm going to give it a try. Apparently we just cut this, make it a fresh end, wrap it up in there, and she should spark. So while I work on this, I guess I'll talk about why would I ever get this ski. I have already got a 1991 square nose superjet. I put a 701 in it, so it works good, which, by the way, 701 is the best, most affordable upgrade for your square nose superjet. You can get your factory pipes or any of that and it's fine, but if you love yourself, put a 701 in it. You could probably sell your 6M6 and practically make your money back if you get a good deal on your 701, and it will just fix a lot of the riding problems. You'll have the power to ride out of corners and stuff. Anyway, the reason for getting this one, first of all, it was a good deal. I got it for $600, so I mean less than $1 per cc, and it had spark and compression. The person told me that it didn't have spark, but I looked it over and the rear one actually did have spark, so that means that I'm probably not going to have to buy an EFI or I don't know, whatever it is, the electronics for these, which aren't that expensive anyway, but I'm glad I don't have to buy it. Hopefully I can just fix this boot here and it'll work. So I guess comment if boot is the wrong word and tell me which word I should be using. Anyway, why buy this thing? Besides that, it's Yamahas are the reliable ski that you can put your wife or girlfriend or friend who doesn't know how to ride on, and it's just gonna work, and you don't have to babysit them all day. If you put someone out in the water on your JS 550, I mean maybe it works good for you, but my experience has not been really good with Kawasaki's. So I'm just like, I'm going to have to make sure that they don't break down. But on a Yamaha, it just seems like they always work, and you know, this is the perfect first ski. So if you want to like get a ski that you're going to learn on, and you don't want to spend as much, instead of getting a 550 or a 440 or whatever crappy Kawasaki, spend a little bit more and get one of these, and you'll spend way less time working on it, and you'll spend way more time riding it, and you won't mind that at all. I guess unless you're really into working on your skis more than riding them. So know what you like. Alright, so I didn't know what I was talking about. It's not a crimp-on boot, it's a screw-in boot, so I did this wrong. And it looks like I'm going to need a new boot, so looks like that's not what I'm doing next. I just talked to one of the experts here, one of the engine experts here. I probably should have filmed that, but what would he be? The JetSki dad, I guess. Anyway, as I was looking this over, I could tell there's some loose screws. Clearly they were in this electronics box, and it's not tightened up that well, so I'm a little bit concerned that some water got in here. I'm going to pull this thing apart, try to make sure it's all dried out before I start sending more charge through it, because I don't really want to deal with that not working. So I guess that's the plan until I get another spark plug boot. Alright, I'm just taking the last screw out of the e-box. I just throw them inside the hole when I'm done. Just kidding, that would be the worst thing. They came out really easily, so it makes me think that they've been in here before quite a bit. Usually they're a huge hassle to get out, and well, maybe it's not a huge hassle, just like use the right drill bit and be careful and try not to strip them out, because they're usually pretty tight in there. Alright, so oh yeah, really good at it right in here. So, as you could see, it's pretty gross and corroded in here. I would say that this did not happen in one day, since I pressure washed it out. It's probably been getting a bit of water in here anyway, so we're going to try and clean this up and dry it out. Hopefully all this stuff is still working. I mean, it was the other day. I haven't started it, but I had some spark. And then we'll put it back together and hopefully never deal with it again. That would be the best. Got some nice little bit of sand in there from all of whoever's riding before. So I don't know, I guess that doesn't mean it's been in salt, but it's definitely not been that well sealed. I was just cleaning out my e-box. Why don't you join me? I already sprayed it out with the air compressor, but now we're going to get in there a little bit with the brush and do a little bit of brush work. So we're going to work on our strokes there. We're just going to get in there, stroke it. Just let it know that you're there and that you care. I'm just going to go over it, keep going over it until it starts to look happy. Let's make those electronics look happy. Alright? You can see that corrosion coming right off the metal as you just brush it away. Just brush it away. You can see the metal starting to smile back at me right now. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Oh, yeah. when I'm doing work like this, sometimes I like to just hum a little tune. But not right now. Probably should have watched a Bob Ross video immediately before starting that bit, but you can see I got some of the corrosion out of here with the air compressor. It wasn't that tough. And now I just want to get, well, a bunch more of it. Ideally, I never open this thing up again, so that's sort of the plan. Is just make it look a lot prettier and then close it up. Let's see what we want to talk about. Oh yeah, so like the first ski I ever got was one of these, and I would recommend to anyone looking for a first ski, go get yourself a square nose superjet. Spend a little bit more than you would on a Kawasaki and work on it a lot less. That's kind of always been my thing. It's like, I never want to work on my ski, so I will sacrifice power and other things if I can just ride it all the time and work on it a lot less. I don't have the factory pipe on it. My first ski came with a factory pipe, and I was very happy to take it off. I lost a little bit of power, but it just took up so much space, and if I needed to work on something, there was just less room to work on it, and I don't have nimble little mechanic hands that can do backflips while screwing in a screw with my knuckles. So I just kind of got the stock stuff, put it back on, it runs good. The Yamaha stock stuff, the stock muffler, it looks ugly, I don't know, it doesn't look like it works that great. It just looks like a big square exhaust or whatever, but it works, and that's all I need it to do. So, this ProTech pipe, it doesn't take up nearly as much space as the factory pipe. So, after I try it on here, if it seems like it's pretty good, I might try putting it on a different ski and see how I like it. But also, I might just not, because I'd love to not work on it. So it might just stay in here. This ski is going to be so sweet. We're going to get some nice lap time comparisons between a 650 and a 701. If you have a 650 and you're looking to upgrade it, just the first thing you want to do is put a 701 in it. It makes so much difference, and then you probably won't feel like you need an upgrade that bad anymore. If you want it to ride different, you should put tubbies on it. That'll make a really big difference as well as far as ride goes. It's, from what I hear, it's the same bottom of the ski as your round noses, at least like up until 2007. And so basically you're paying a lot less. It's kind of an ugly ski, unless you're into that square nose look, but I mean, if you just want to ride and you don't care how it looks, it's a good way to go. So as I'm cleaning up the solenoid, this is a part that I've changed on, I guess probably 2 of my now 4 superjets, and possibly on some other skis as well. It seems like these things go out fairly often for me, but it's getting to be less so, and there's a couple of reasons that I figured I'd tell you about. And you know, if you go in there and you're fixing your own ski electronics, you can try some of this stuff, and maybe you won't have to deal with it again. So, I mean, like, for one thing, I'm just trying to get some rust off of it. I bet the base of this doesn't matter, but I'm just going to be crazy about it. But a couple of things that have ruined solenoids for me. One of them is we have jumped skis were started skis using car batteries, and I don't know, it might just be like the cheapest Chinese solenoid that you can get on eBay or whatever. Can't handle the load or whatever it is, but whenever I've tried to do that, it seems like it's like, you know, you start the ski and that's fine, but then the solenoid doesn't work anymore, so it's kind of don't recommend that. I doubt there's a ton of people out there having that particular issue. But another thing that will happen is you get water in your e-box, and then it will rust up and just, you know, stop working. So what you'll see, I don't know where it comes in, but you can look at these. If you look really close on these, you can see there's oftentimes little gaps in the wires and their little plugs there. So I believe that is probably where the water gets into these e-boxes, especially if you're screwing them up really tight. So what I like to do is take some gasket maker, which, I mean, whatever you have, you just kind of put some in there when you're putting it back together and get that all filled in. This little rubber stopper isn't really going to move anymore, so you'll want to do it when you're actually putting the e-box together so that you know you have it in the right spot. But that way you know it's all sealed up, so you don't have any more water going in and ruining electronics that way. Alright, so I've cleaned out this e-box to my satisfaction. I've blown it out with the air. I've proven that I've blown it out with the air compressor. You've seen it. So now I'm going to start the ultricate, delicate procedure of globbing this on the wires and getting it in the little rubber stoppers so that water won't be able to get in there anymore. And I've got my special gloves on to protect my robot hands from getting any of this gasket maker into the crevices and circuitry, and I'm just gonna go for it. I will say that this stuff is a cure-all. You can use it as for like a head gasket in any engine, and it'll just work great. And that's not true, but 1/3 of us JetSki brothers have actually tried that, and another third didn't know to tell them that was a bad idea. And then Josh later gave us the heads up on that one, but he wasn't around when it was being done. So I've kind of put some on the end of this, slid it down a ways. I'm using a screwdriver to kind of cram it in the crevices. I just want to cover that all up. And then when I'm done with that, I'm just going to towel it off as best as I can so it doesn't look completely nasty, and hopefully I don't get it all over myself. I'm not really sure what this gasket maker stuff is like best used for, but it could be this. This could be the best possible use for it. I'm willing to rule that out. I know that my brothers do really professional work, so sorry you have to find out that one of us doesn't know what we're doing just because crap like this all the time. Stuff like this all the time? Really sorry about that language. And this is one of the ones with a really big gap on it, so I think that this is probably where the water got in the most. Hopefully that'll be enough. Alright, I've finished messing with the electronics today, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like when I finished, and just, yeah, you'll see. Yeah, so there's the e-box, and after I worked on it, it just, like, it looks like a completely different e-box. In fact, it makes the engine look different. The whole thing just looks, well, it looks faster and more powerful. It'll be really exciting to see what this thing can do.